Hi everybody, it's me, Jill. Welcome to Jill Informed. Oh my gosh, how excited are you guys for this? This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 11, Episode 1, Divided They Summer. Those of you who know me know that my New York ladies are my very, very favorite. And I just know going into a new season that it is going to be action-packed. I don't have any fears whatsoever that this is going to be boring. It is the one franchise that I look forward to the most. And it's early this year. It usually starts in April. I'm not exactly sure why it's about a month early. But I am not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. As I've been saying all week, I am filming while I'm watching the show for the first time, so I haven't seen it yet, and I can't wait another second, so let's get started. Ooh, we are starting with the screen saying 6 months ago, which was when Luann did her cabaret for the first time. Thank you, Giovanni! Then we see Luann in the confessional saying, "I'm so happy. I did it. I just did it. I can't wait to see what the future holds for me." Then a news headline from E! News. Luann de Lesseps is sued by her children. Oh, God. Next headline from today. Luann de Lesseps checks back into rehab. Oh, you did it all right, sweetie. Then you see the reunion, which was 4 months later, and Andy is asking, okay, obviously we're missing somebody today. He's asking Bethany, was there an intervention? Bethany's like, well, I would say she didn't exactly come to this entirely on her own. There were some other people there, and it was the right thing to do. So basically an intervention. Okay, Bethany also mentions how she got Luann in touch with Dennis, her boyfriend, and that he was helping her with some financial matter, I guess, or legal matter. Was he an attorney? I don't remember. Anyway, Andy goes, yeah, like, what's going on with you and Dennis? And she's like, listen, we love each other, but we're just seeing if this can be a thing, like an everyday thing. We're taking it slow. And I don't mind this being like a gray area, you know, not defining it. And then you see the next headline. And I don't remember exactly how much longer after the reunion this happened, but it's the headline where Dennis was found dead in Trump Tower. Oh, that was so sad. Well, so we kind of start off with Dorinda walking in the park with her friend Luke, I think they said his name was. I don't know, I've never heard of him before, but apparently she has been taking care of herself. She's been exercising and not drinking. She thinks that it's not good for her. Darn it. No, I mean, I want people to be healthy, but I loved a drunk Dorinda. So, yeah, she's working on herself and being healthy, and now they're walking in the park. And we also, I should say, saw tiny little clips of Tinsley in the city, and this big giant semi-truck was delivering Scott's car to her. I don't know. And a little scene with Sonja walking the dog in the park, a little scene with Luann at her place in the Hamptons, and she's on the phone with her daughter asking her if she will come up on stage when she performs Girl Code at her cabaret show, asking Victoria if she'll join her on stage, and Victoria's like, yeah. I think maybe that was to let us know that her children and she are back together again. I don't know how the lawsuit went. And when we touched base with Bethany, she was doing a photo shoot for her skinny girl jeans. Well, it looks like Dorinda and Luann are not exactly starting off as besties. During this walk, Dorinda is saying, you know, let's talk about this. In a year and a half, she got married, got divorced, got arrested, assaulted a police officer, went to rehab, and was drinking all along. I don't know if she was drinking all along, but yeah, I mean, I guess we don't know when she started drinking again. She said, I don't think it's good for us to be around each other. And in her confessional, she's saying, we were good friends, but now we just need to like take a beat. We are in the Hamptons at Bethany's house now. And she's there with a few of her friends. This is weird because it's the end of summer, but normally filming for the New York Housewives starts October, November. The beginning is always the holidays, you know? Last year, the very first episode, it was the Halloween party. So this feels weird. And maybe this is also a part of why we're starting a month early, because they started filming so early. It was strange. I wonder if they did it sort of coinciding with Luann getting out of rehab and maybe because of Dennis dying. I don't know. I mean, in a way, I don't want to think that Bravo, like, they're such vultures, but, you know, like, it's a TV show and they kind of are, so. So anyway, like I said, we're in Bethany's house. She's in the kitchen having lunch with 3 of her friends. And again, I don't know who these people are. They aren't housewives or friends that I remember from before. You guys might. And she starts talking about Dennis and that, you know, it was so weird, but I wrote him a text. She said, Bryn was just asking, does Dennis still have a phone, like a phone number? And she said, yeah, he does. And I was thinking about how it was just so weird because like I texted him after he died and I just sent him this text. And then she reads it to everybody out loud. Yeah, I miss you so much. You're the best man that there ever was. Blah, blah, blah. And then Bryn wanted to send him a text. She reads that out loud. And then Bryn asked, do you think he got my text? And, you know, she's crying and it's emotional and it's sad. But at the same time, I feel uncomfortable at home. Like, I feel uncomfortable that I'm witnessing this. And then I'm reminded that, like, she's reading this, retelling this, not to her friends, but on camera. I'm feeling bothered by it. I can't explain it. Okay, at least I knew we would get a laugh with this next scene because it is Ramona and Sonja. We're at Sonja's new apartment and it's only like 1,300 square feet. So she's adjusting. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. Ramona comes over and Sonja goes, I knew you'd be all dressed up. And she's like, well, I have a date. I have 2 dates actually. One for lunch and one for dinner. And so she's looking around the apartment and Sonja goes, well, the kid wants it to be pink. Ramona, what pink? The walls? No, that's ugly. That'll be ugly. And she's like, well, just wait and see. So here we have a bunch of different pink paint samples. And then she wants like the doors, like a black or navy lacquer. Oh my God. Ramona looked horrified. To the confession cam, she goes, that's going to be so ugly. I don't even know if I can visit her. That's going to give me a headache. I missed you, Ramona. They're talking about Dennis now. I guess they're going to the Hamptons, and Sonja said that Tinsley called her and said, let's go up together, so they're going to do that. And she said, I was just telling Bethany, you know, maybe you should just kind of be with Bryn, and, you know, I'll be just a stone's throw away. I don't know if she was going to stay with Bethany. I'm not sure what she meant by that, but anyway, so they started to talk about Dennis, and to the confessional, Ramona, when I heard the news, I sent her some flowers. I know how devastated she must be. Dennis was a very good friend, and Bethany doesn't have very many friends. Oh, God. Now we're with Luann in the Hamptons, and her friend Barbara comes over, and I was not even paying attention to this woman because I don't know who all these friends are. Bethany, her friends, I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who the guy was that Dorinda was talking to. I'm being introduced to so many other characters. I'm not used to it. I think that kind of speaks to the title of this episode. These ladies may have all been kind of doing very separate things all summer long. So anyway, Luann says to the confessional, what happened was I had fallen in love with this property in the Hamptons and I wanted to buy it, and so I wanted to sell my place. The children didn't like that, so they stopped me. It was very emotional for me. And that's what led me to start drinking again. I didn't have the tools. So I'm really glad I went back. Okay, that is a real whitewashing of what happened, right? I mean, it has to be. You don't just, want to buy it. I fell in love with something and I tried to buy it and the children didn't want me to, so they sued me? Like, how many conversations must there have been first? No, Mom, you can't do that because we're supposed to get part of the proceeds when you sell that. My point is they had to have talked to her and probably argued with her about it to get them to the point of having to take legal action, right? You don't just, without a conversation, sue your mother. I want to know more about that story, don't you? The other part of it is that she will be forever grateful to her friend Barbara and Bethany and maybe a few others for the intervention. She didn't say intervention, but I know that's what she meant, for getting her to go back to rehab because she thinks that was a great idea. She should have gone back to rehab. Then this Barbara gets her own confessional. Like, when has that happened before? Where this, side character gets their own confessional. Oh, Barbara was the one at the auction who, before Luann's wedding, was speaking to Carol, and Carol said, is she excited about her wedding? And Barbara said, well, she would rather go through with it and get divorced than not get married. That's Barbara. So in the confessional, Barbara tells us that she, along with Bethany and I guess their friend Anne, another person I don't know, were the Charlie's Angels. She said that Luann was a mess and they got together and they're the ones that got her back into rehab. Well, Luann breaks down a little bit when she's talking about her children. She's 53 days sober and she goes to meetings every day. They're out in the Hamptons. And she loves it and she wants to be better. And when she breaks down, it's because she's thinking about her children and she wants them to see her sober. She said, I can't ever relapse again. And Barbara said, you won't, that we won't let you. And so I hope that's true for her sake. Then they go to lunch on a Vespa. I want a Vespa so bad, you guys. Maybe when we retire and move somewhere warmer. Sonia is lying in bed in her tiny little 2-bedroom apartment, but she still has somebody waiting on her hand and foot. This time it's Taylor, and she's probably an intern doing it for free. Sonia's laying in bed. The dog's next to her. She's reading the newspaper, and she's like, what is taking her so long? It's just toast. She's got Taylor making her toast and bringing it to her on a bed tray. Okay, so I guess she's having custom curtains made, but in her bedroom, she's like, I'm not getting any sleep. We're going to have to put the towels back up. The towels? Yeah. Oh my God. She is duct taping towels across her windows because there is a restaurant right across the way that can look right in her bedroom window. And she's got Mr. Netflix and Chill coming over. So she doesn't want to give them a free show. But she's got the monogram towels and white towels and black duct tape. I'm sorry. I feel like there needs to be a better solution. I get that the custom drapery and the curtain rods aren't there yet because you need to paint first and then they're going to be. But you could buy a tension rod. Go send Taylor to do it and make your own toast. It's always this extreme with her. It's either, the $6,000 drapery or a towel and duct tape. It's crazy. Oh my God, Ramona's swimming lesson. We are at Ramona's house in the Hamptons and she has hired a swimming instructor to come to her house and teach her how to swim. She's telling him about what happened in Cartagena when they almost all died on the boat on the way back. And she said, and I thought to myself, I don't know how to swim. So I told my friend, and she said she's got a great swimming instructor. And that was this guy. So she hired him, and she is flirting so hard. I literally have never seen a woman flirt like this. It's like every single thing he does, she's just looking at him like, So he's getting in the water. Oh, nice trunks. I like that. Kind of sexy. And he said, I'm going to teach you the breaststroke first because that's when you can keep your head above water. Oh, I like that. I like to keep my head above water. Then she says something about the breaststroke. She likes the breaststroke because I have nice breasts, if I do say so myself. Oh, God. Now we're back in the city with Tinsley and Sonja, but they are heading to the Hamptons in the car that Scott sent. Sonja's saying to the confessional, oh, I don't know, he sends his car. She spent the whole summer in Chicago. I mean, these are all good signs. But we don't want to tell Dale. We don't want to get her hopes up. But Tinsley's hopes are already up because she's talking about how great things are with her and Scott. And she loved that over the summer in Chicago, they just hung out and she got to kind of play house. And he had some employees over for a party and she got to be like the hostess and she loved it. Oh, and also Scott knows what kind of ring I want and he knows my ring size. We talk about it. I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but this was already in the news that they broke up. I don't think it's in the cards for Tinsley. Okay, so Tinsley hasn't driven in 5 years. She's driving this big honkin' huge SUV that probably cost $150,000. I don't even know what it is, what kind it is or anything, but Sonja said, I feel fancy in this car until they're parked. And she's like, okay, it's in drive, good. And then she goes, oh, wait, I should probably have it in reverse. Yeah, okay. So she moves it into reverse and she's like, is it in reverse? Oh, okay. So she starts backing up and then she slams on the brakes and screams. And Sonja's scared. The dog is scared. Oh, my God. It's so funny. So now they're driving along and she's like, it's okay, it's okay. I am a good driver. I used to be a good driver. Okay, but you haven't driven in 5 years. And then to the confession cam, she says, I probably couldn't pass a driving test now, but wow, then don't drive because you could hurt somebody else, you know? I have to say this though, even though I've driven for years and I do drive regularly, I would not drive in New York City. No way. We dropped my daughter off there for college and, you know, like in almost every summer we'd have to like pick her up and she was moving. We'd have to move her in and oh, I would make my husband do it. It is not the place for a car. That's why people that live in New York City don't own cars. Okay, so we're at Bethany's house and she is having Luann and Barbara over for a fish platter. And is that a thing, a fish platter? I'm not a fish eater, so I don't know, but everything else looked lovely, like an array of cheeses and desserts and everything. So she's hosting the two of them in the Hamptons, and over at Ramona's place in the Hamptons, we see Dorinda coming over. I don't know yet where Tinsley and Sonja are going. They're probably going to Ramona's too, I would think, right? I don't know. Anyway, Dorinda's there and she goes, you know, I always like to bring a nice candle. And Ramona said, I love a candle. And she goes, so I brought it to you in this. It was a monogrammed Luann and Tom tote bag. Yeah. She got it for being in the wedding. And she goes, and I don't want it in my house anymore. Ramona's like, well, I don't want it in my house either. You keep it. We are giving an awful lot of airtime to this Barbara Kay. They better not be grooming her to be a new housewife because I don't think I like her. I mean, she hasn't done anything horrible yet, but like, I'm just getting a weird vibe. Anyway, we have dueling conversations going back and forth. In Ramona's house, Ramona and Dorinda are talking about Luann, and Dorinda said, that's why I wanted to drive up by myself because I want to avoid Luann. I don't want to see her. Over at Bethany's house, she's having lunch, like I said, with Luann and Barbara Kay, and they're talking about Ramona now. Luann said, Ramona's such a liar. She said I got kicked out of that party. We see a flashback to the reunion again. Ramona did say, yeah, I was at somebody's party and she got kicked out. Now this Barbara said, she didn't get kicked out. I was there with her. And she said, I want to go, and we left. And Luann's like, yeah, there was too many people drinking. I needed to get out of there. And Bethenny's pretty much going along with, yeah, Ramona's a liar. So the lines are pretty much drawn in the sand for this year. I don't think things have changed too much. We've got Dorinda and Ramona on one side, and we've got Luann and Bethenny on the other. And Barbara Kay, for some reason. We're still going back and forth with the two conversations, and Dorinda kind of starts crying, and she goes, I'm hurt by her. I was hurt. And Ramona keeps saying, Luann's in a bad place right now. She's just in a bad space. And then Dorinda said, it's almost like she wants me to bend the knee to her. I do appreciate the Game of Thrones reference. And she said, but I just think we need our space from each other. I'm not going to come after her, and I know she's recovering right now. I have no intentions of, like, coming after her. Over at Bethenny's house, we find out that Barbara Kay, please tell me she's not the new housewife. Barbara Kay is having a clam bake, and she has invited Dorinda. Now, Luann doesn't want to go because I don't want to run into her. I'm just not ready to see her. And to be honest with you, I don't want to see Ramona either. Bethenny says to Barbara Kay, you know Dorinda? Yeah, oh yeah, we're friends. Then Bethenny says to Luann, would you really not go? And she's like, mm-hmm. She looks at Barbara and she goes, well, then you can't invite her. If she really won't go, and she's in recovery, you can't do something that's going to trigger her. You have to decide whose team you're on. Okay. Barbara Kay is hosting this clam bake? I don't know. Maybe they just really needed it to be like on neutral ground. Okay, that is pretty much it for this episode. I am slightly worried about Sonja and Tinsley because they never showed up in the Hamptons. And with Tinsley behind the wheel, yeah, I have some concerns. But yeah, you know, first episodes are always not the best. We are usually just setting up the season, and that's pretty much what this one was. But the previews for what's coming are wild, crazed emotions, crying and drunkenness and screaming and yelling, and what really looks to be not the teams we see right now, like Bethenny screaming and yelling at Luann and Ramona screaming and yelling at Dorinda. So things are going to get all shaken up. One thing that concerns me is that I am seeing more Barbara Kay. Oh, I don't know, guys. Am I going to end up loving Barbara Kay? Who knows? I don't right now, and I don't want her to be the new housewife. Who can I write to about this? Anyway, all right. I still have high hopes, but that's it for me right now. Please subscribe to Jill Informed if you haven't already. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please leave a comment down below. I love to hear from you guys. And I hope I will see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of New York. Bye-bye.